How y'all feeling tonight? It's your boy, ready to react to another video. But before I do that, I got a couple bars to spit. I said my name is G, rhyming with y'all on this hump day night. Hey, I'm a little tired, y'all, but I heard this video and I felt like I wanted to add my 2 cents because I like thought leaders. I like people who think outside the box. So if I could rhyme for you for a second, give you my perspective. I'm a truth teller, conscious and aware type of fella. I feel a little tired, but I got to do what I do. I'm going to get it in and going to make it do what it do. Welcome. Man, my rhymes have been off lately. They've been off. Man, I've been tired. Got a lot on my mind. The show has been helping me a lot because so much going on in a positive light. But unfortunately, when you're always constantly solving problems, sometimes your mind is a little blank. And as far as my rhymes, I'm going to leave that as to why I haven't been spitting hot bars lately. But anyway, before I jump into the reaction for this 19 Keys video, I wanted to play a quick video. It's pretty motivating.
If you look at an interview from me from 10 years ago, everybody says, I love that interview. People didn't love it back then, though, because I was speaking to the future. I'm 10 years ahead mentally, and I'm trapped in today's time. And every now and then I crack you a smile for 2013, but I'm cracking you a frown for 2023. And I'm focused on what it's going to be. Just mark my words. As I'm Kanye West, you've seen my execution. Did I not become the biggest rock star on the planet? Did I not influence all musicians? Did I not go and get the exact girl that I wanted? Did I not start my family? Did I not ruffle the feathers of 2 presidents? Did I not make Louis Vuittons? Did people not line up at the Yeezy store? Did I not make the college dropout, late registration, graduation, 808s, Blueprint 1, Blueprint 3, Watch the Throne, Cruel Summer, and Yeezus, if you like it or not?
Kanye. You know, hey, look, hate them or love them, the results are the results. So definitely, if that's not inspiring to you, I don't know what is. Now, you don't have to like the man, but I feel like why I connect with him so much is because I am a believer that I am a person to see the future as well. I have been someone that I'm always thinking 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 steps ahead. And yeah, so when you see that and you see someone actually say what they're going to do and then they do it, for me, that is powerful. So definitely, whatever you're looking to do, you should be saying it now and you should be speaking it to existence. So anyway, let me jump right into this 19 Keys video. So really quick, if you don't know who 19 Keys is, Jabbar Muhammad is a St. Louis born, West Oakland raised thought leader, entrepreneur, and public speaker, curating and presenting thoughts to enlighten the mind. Now, I've been hearing about this guy for a while. My wife actually listened to him pretty religiously. She's been trying to put me on and say, you need to check him out. And I'm one of the people, like, it takes me a while to catch on. But I did listen to this video and it opened my eyes a lot. So I'm going to let the video play. I'm going to add my 2 cents. I won't be before you long, but I would love to hear your comments, your thoughts in terms of what he's saying. Do you agree, disagree? What I'm saying, do you agree or disagree? So definitely let me jump right into it. Hold on 1 second. Fair use. I hope this brother does not have a problem with me playing this video. So definitely, I'm just trying to get the word out. It's a lot of attacks on Kanye, on Ye. I actually, before I jump into that, I wanted to read a couple tweets that I saw, and just some things that just make you say, and just think about Bishop Top Swan said JP Morgan Chase debanked Kanye West. This was from today, but kept Jeffrey Epstein as a client even after he was convicted of sex trafficking children. Interesting. Another one, Black people, if we're canceling Kanye for being harmful to us, then we also need to cancel female rappers who promote WAP, being a super freaky girl, BDE. I don't even know what BDE is. City girl culture and male rappers who brag about taking lives and selling dope. Why are we select in our outrage? That's another one. One more. Are y'all going to pretend you still don't see a disparity when Howard Stern could wear blackface, call Black people niggas, and spew anti-Black rhetoric for 40 years and never get canceled? But Kanye gets canceled within a few days for offending the Jewish community. There's two more I want to read. Um, Bishop Talbot Swan, I see his tweets. I don't follow him, but his tweets like to come up on my Twitter when I log in. This one says, remember, when 21 Savage was forced to apologize for saying I got Jewish money, he never apologized for lyrics about murdering Black people. Spray your block down. We not really with that rah-rah shit. Glock cock now. I don't really give a fuck about who I'm going to hit or who I hit. And he had one more I wanted to read. Hold on one second. He had one more that I thought was pretty intense. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, he said, tell the 2 billionaires. One was condemned of a 40-year anti-Black racist. He was elected president and made millions charging the government for the use of his own property. One was condemned as an anti-Semite. In 1 week, he was canceled and stripped of $600 million in wealth. So yeah, there you go. There's my tweets of the day. It's just interesting that, yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to comment on that. You can take what you want from those tweets. I think they are very interesting how things have just kind of turned so quickly. The moment when I say we, a Black person speaks out about something he feels passionate about, and we see what happens. So let's jump right into this 19 keys. I'm gonna let this play. Fair use once again. I hope this brother does not mind me playing this video or this audio.
So like I said, I started off, I was having this conversation, or I seen a comment right before I got on here, and a white guy was asking me, he said, listen, what if Tom Brady, right, had said that about DEF CON, right? And it's amazing in this world what one tweet can do. I think that's another amazing thing, right? That I think what we've seen over the last few years, we've seen some of the most powerful men get taken off these sites, right? Kanye West is the richest man in the culture, right? And then you have the most powerful Black man in America, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, right? Then you had the President of the United States, Donald Trump. He was censored and deplatformed as well. So what we're seeing in today's age, you got to ask yourself, who has the power to censor? Who actually runs the world? Who actually controls and has the most power within the world? I don't actually have to state it, right? There's a paradigm means that instead of telling people what something is, you allow them to come to conclusions by presenting evidences, right? And allowing people to come to their own conclusion about reality. There's a few questions that everybody must ask themselves. There's a lot of forbidden information that can never be thrown out there, right? And it's amazing today that we're seeing issues like Adidas dropping Kanye West, because Adidas itself is a German brand that has Nazi ties.
Before he jumps into that part, definitely I feel like so once again, I've mentioned to you all that I'm not really in the news cycle. I see my headlines on my tweets. I do. Obviously, I use Twitter. That's kind of how I keep up with things. But I'm not someone to watch the news or kind of delve too deeply into it. So when Trump was removed from Twitter, I understood that obviously in a lot of people's eyes, he was saying some things and riling up his base and whatever the case may be. And when he was first removed from Twitter, I didn't totally get it. You know, when I was like, how I looked at it is maybe Trump said someone went across the line. I don't read the community guidelines, the rules, and all this type of things. But later on, as I thought about it and I heard different perspectives, I was like, dang, they did remove a president. And ultimately, even with everything that's going on with Kanye right now, like with Ye right now, sorry, uh, what is freedom of speech? It's almost like if you say one thing and you offend a certain group or base, then you can be um, canceled. And once again, that's what we're saying with Kanye. So these platforms are extremely powerful. I just wanted to interject that. So let me keep going. Let me let 19 Keys keep going.
Isn't that interesting? A German brand that has Nazi ties, and this is not a brand that's been canceled by right the power structure, but a couple of interviews in a tweet can take down a black billionaire, so calledly, right? Because what is the idea of canceling people? What is the idea of severing ties with business partnerships in America? What does that mean, right? That's the question that we must ask ourselves first. What does it mean? How much does it mean? Anna Winter, who has no particular influence in the culture, what does that mean when she says she's cutting ties with Ye? What does it mean when Ye makes Adidas hot and they cut ties with him? While he was in a bad deal with a no compete clause and they own all the current colorways, they own all the current styles, right? And they said that they're going to lose $200 million in revenue by leaving and losing Kanye West. What does that mean? Is the question first, because everybody who's losing Ye is actually losing money. It's not the other way around. First of all, right? Evaluations and things of that nature and how you leverage what means a billion and that's a whole nother conversation. But first of all, what does it mean is the question, because a lot of these things that we're seeing in the media, we assume that they actually mean something. We assume that it has a large amount of value, right? But what does it actually mean?
So that's an interesting point. What does being a billionaire mean? Uh, really, if you think about it, like what does that mean? And it's so crazy as Ye are losing all of these partnership deals, Adidas, um, all different people. There's so many I can't even name all of them. I mean, 19 Keys put it perfectly. Like they're actually losing money for cutting Ye. And the reality is, Ye, as he mentioned with Adidas, he brought life back to them. And so, what does it ultimately mean when you say um, he's no longer a billionaire? What does it mean when he says, um, uh, those type of things? The reality is this, right? And he talked a little bit about this. Like, what if Kanye actually, and I've said this on the last video, feels trapped, and I've also said that I believe that this was a strategic move. You heard the man on the first little snippet that I played before he started. The guy sees things 10, 20 years out. You don't think he knew what was going to happen by making the comments he did? Like, as 19 Keys is stating, he probably wanted to get, I'm not going to say probably, I'm pretty sure he wanted to get out these deals. If he can make them 200 million, what can he do on his own with the know-how and the smarts that he's attained over the years and now building his own concept? So I think this is what I've been talking about for years. And I appreciate people like 19 Keys because they can articulate it a lot better than I can. But it almost goes back to the question I asked on the last show as well. Why does LeBron need Nike? Why does Jordan need Nike? Why can't we jump out there and create our own brands that span for lifetimes and generations? And we're seeing it before our eyes with Ye, I believe. But anyway, I'm gonna let Keys continue to share his 2 cents.
What does it mean when CAA, was a talent agency. They had a touring contract with Kanye West, and he hasn't done touring since 2016, right? Cut him off. What does that mean if they wasn't making no money and doing no business? Like, let's say Apple decides to take all Kanye West's streaming. What does it mean when Kanye West already put out his music independently in his last album?
You know what it means? It's controlling the narrative and its headlines. Now that it is known that Ye has ruffled a bunch of feathers, everybody wants to jump in on the bandwagon. CAA cut him. Who the hell is CAA? Like he just said, he hasn't toured in a while. If Apple or the music platforms in partnerships with him, he's already streaming his own thing. So it's all headlines. It's to rally up the people to say, let's throw this man under the bus. This is, I guess, we're seeing how you cancel someone that is a billionaire right in front of our eyes. And I appreciate 19 Keys for exposing this. So keep going, brother.
I want y'all to get to this point, because whether it's him and whether you agree with the remarks or not, it's the same thing as PayPal saying that they're going to charge people $2,500 and cut them off of their payment platform if you say things that they disagree with. What does it mean nowadays to be cut off if you have your own? That's the question I want us to ask first and foremost, because this is the more important question.
What is the cost of your freedom? I don't care if you tell me and that I got $1 billion. I'm sitting with all these zeros in my bank account. If I feel trapped or locked in a bad deal, no matter what, my goal is to get out. And so, yeah, let's keep going.
If the contract was bad in the first place, what does it mean to lose? If you're already going actively against everybody who's saying that they're cutting you off, it actually sounds first and foremost like Kanye cut them off first. I'm just saying, is that not what happened? Did Kanye not cut?
Bingo. If you listen to that Drink Champs interview, Kanye was almost daring Adidas. You ain't going to do nothing to me. If you do something to me, Yeezy makes up 70% of y'all sales or something crazy like that he said. He was baiting them. They took the bait. Let's keep it going.
Cut them off first. He not cancel them first, but he doesn't control that narrative, right? So he first said he didn't like Adidas. He said they was raping him in his deal. He said Gap was the devil. You understand me? He talked about all of these different people. He counseled them, if I'm not mistaken. And it took them a long time to figure out whether they wanted to sever ties, because he was bringing them so much value. Am I not mistaken?
Young people, when people talk about, you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your career, and you want to be a business owner, entrepreneur, all these type of things. Before you do that, sometimes you may got to go and work for someone. You got to learn the craft or the certain skill that you're trying to do. But when 19 Keys just said perfectly, if you create value, you're good no matter what. So just always remember that.
Am I not mistaken? I just want to first understand this psychologically. This ain't about whether you agree with anything first. It's about first understanding the psychological aspect of how we view things because of who controls the narrative. The narrative was never Kanye is counseling these people, but he has the power, don't he, to counsel somebody if he adds a large percent of value and revenue and valuation to one's business. If he counseled them, the only thing he didn't have the ability to was say, I want out this contract completely and have power over that, because he signed a bad contract, which is most likely why he was crying about not having information. And why he was mad the fact that he has all of these friends and all these walks of life and nobody was giving him the game. This is what we get mad at the most, when we know all these people and ain't nobody giving us the game. We like, wait the hell a minute.
Man, that's powerful. As a tech founder, entrepreneur for many, many years, trust and believe, that is the question that we ask ourselves all the time. Why isn't no one telling me these things before I mess up and fuck up really bad and have to figure it out myself? There's been plenty of people before me doing this. Why is no one giving us the game? And that's the unfortunate part about being a black thought leader, being a black entrepreneur, being the first in many things. You don't have a lot of guidance. Um, and so it's crazy, it's sad, but I think that that's changing. So let's go.
Why nobody told me and pre-warned me that I was getting myself into these slave contracts? And why is it I'm fighting these people by myself? And so, desperate measures. A lot of different things had to happen before this took place. And it really shows you, because I know a lot of black men that are dealing and suffering with mental issues because of the stress of being a black man in America. Literally, I know people who are a shell of themselves. They still got their intelligence and their faculties about them, but stress causes mental illness as well. Just stress itself, it can destroy neurons, right? And cause inflammation in the brain to where you can't even think straight.
I told you on the last show, like I've been dealing a little bit of stress. And the crazy part is I discovered what that stress was for me. Well, I think I discovered it. And obviously I haven't totally eliminated it. And I'm not a person that wants to take a whole bunch of medicine and pills to try to deal with my stress. I realized that I'm the type of person that I've been climbing uphill my entire life. The moment that things start to turn around and appear to be good, I start to stress because I'm starting in the back of my head, starting to think like, oh man, something bad's about to happen. Because when you come up with that fight or flight mentality your entire life, like it seems very weird when things start to appear to start to turn for the better. So I'm processing that and I'm dealing with that. But to 19 Keys point, man, stress is real. Like sometimes I look at a person like Ye and I wonder how he does it. I know how he does it. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. I truly believe that God will not give you more than you can bear. He was put here to do what he's doing. But I just want to echo the point that 19 Keys is making. Stress is a hell of a drug. I like to pride myself that I don't get stressed, but unfortunately now what I just discovered, and I discovered that recently on my last birthday trip when I did close out the noise and I had conversations with people that really care about me. I was like, damn, that is crazy that how can you stress when things are getting better for you? But like I said, it's all about how you perceive things, how your perception of things have been your entire life. So definitely we got to think that no matter how much we look up to someone like Ye, we got to understand like when you got all this pressure on you, all of this shit you got to deal with. You know, you're losing your family. You understand that you are in bad deals. I mean, you hear Ye talk a lot about God. Do you think a lot of these companies really, really praise the fact that he talks about God so much? So I want to stress like stress is real. So I'll let 19 Keys keep going. I'm gonna stop trying to cut him off so much. So
Now, I'm not saying the brother's crazy, but I am saying the brother is suffering from stress. He said lack of sleep. That can cause a person to definitely trip out. You may not be able to come back from that insomnia. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's no empathy at all. Dame Dash said the best thing. He said, if you love him, why would you put the camera in front of his face if you're thinking a person is going through something? But when you want to exploit somebody, then of course you will. And I'm not saying you got to have sympathy, whether you want to or not. You should always have empathy. And a lot of y'all are supposed to be Christians, so you're supposed to forgive anyway. I'm just saying, isn't that the Christian way? We know it's not the other people way. They said,
man, I grew up in church my whole life. I thought we were the most loving, forgiving people. But for some reason, we have a problem with forgetting, forgetting our own. And yeah, let's go.
we ain't doing no forgiveness over this side. But see, the one thing I admire about about the Anti-Defamation League is they don't tolerate nothing. They don't tolerate nothing. They don't care if you tell the truth. They don't care if you tell a lie. They don't care if it was small, it was big, nothing. They don't. We don't have that. We don't have that. See, when we get mad at people and they commit anti-blackness, right? If they commit anti-blackness, we don't have the power to say, hey, I'm gonna make this call and get everybody to counsel you. We ain't got that. But they said that they set up a system purposely for situations like this to counteract any resistance. But I got questions for you all. I just want to ask a couple questions. And I'm not trying to force any information in your brains. You know, I remember years ago, you know, there was a big thing about Black people being mad at the Yemen Society and Arabs. And we would say Arabs. We didn't point out and say which Arab we was talking about. We just said we talked to Arabs having all these liquor stores in our community. And that was fine to say. But Arabs don't have that kind of power to be counseling stuff because they're not running shit like that. That's fine to say because it's evident that when you walk outside and a lot of these Arabs, they own liquor stores in Black communities. So you say, man, these niggas got this is terrible. The fact that they got these liquor stores, and they be like, well, we just trying to feed our family. And they literally got a Yemen society in Oakland where they all know each other and they all talk to each other. So you're not going to just say one person named, yo, I don't like Akbar, I don't like Muhammad over here. No, you're gonna say, yo, these Arabs got all of these goddamn businesses. The Yemen society got all of these businesses that are liquor stores in our community, but they would never do that in theirs. Matter of fact, they consider it haram. It's crazy, right? But that's okay to call out. I remember when the Black sisters was getting assaulted by Asian store owners in Black communities. When they go into the stores, they treat it like shit, right? And sometimes they're the Asian store owners as well in the liquor stores, right? Same thing. We call them out. Ain't no problem. Nobody consider that to be anti-Asian because we know we're not talking about every Asian on the planet Earth. We just talking about them specific people that treat people like that. And we're not going to name every different name of the person directly. We're going to talk about that because we want them to address it as a community. Right? We want that responsibility to fall on that community of people. We're not condemning a whole race of people. We're just saying that you all have a responsibility because you find it culturally acceptable as a community and you benefit from it. So we say as a community, y'all got to accept responsibility. You can't, don't get mad at the person for how they call out the problem. Get mad at the problem for existing and the people who caused the problem. See, this is deflection when you start blaming the victim, right? Instead of the person that creates the victim in the circumstance, right?
I really like this dude. He right. And I'm not going to say the rhetoric that Ye said, but he right. When you grow up and you see a trend in your neighborhood, you don't say that specific person is the problem. You say, why do they own all of these places in our neighborhood? And you're trying to figure out why don't we have those same opportunities? And I don't want to speak before him. I'm gonna let him keep going. But when Ye was speaking on a group of individuals that he had experience with in his contracts and his deals, for some reason he's now a hate monger versus that's just his experience. And he's calling out bad behavior in his eyes of the people that were doing the bad behavior, and they happen to be this thing. So, yeah, let me keep going.
Different. The perpetrator is the one you have to focus on. But we now at this point in society, we blaming the victim for calling out the perpetrator and how they called out the perpetrator. We said, no, never mind that they committed the crime. Never mind that they did a wrong, but the way you called them out was wrong. Whoa, when did that become the narrative? How the hell is that a narrative? The way you call out somebody. No, so we can call out, there's literally issues right now about black and brown alliances in LA. And when people call that out, it ain't no issue. Every goddamn Hispanic, Mexican, Latinx person, no, we not talking about everybody. We not talking about all y'all. We love you. But we know we call out communities and we call out ethnic backgrounds when we're dealing with people, right, that we know you can help influence this to be better. So when we call out the black community, we call out the rap community, we call out the entertainment community, we call out multiple communities at once because we're talking to the people who have and enjoy a collective influence and control over this structure and industry. And everybody knows this. Every black person that I've talked to, white person as well, Jewish person as well, Asian, Mexican, I talk to, everybody agrees behind the scenes, but in front of the scenes, they say, well, I got to tone switch a little bit, brother. I got to go with the narrative because I don't want to mess up my checks.
Bing, bing, bing. Bingo. I agree. I'm not going to mess up my check. I'm not going to speak out on that. So then it becomes a thing where, come on, collectively, when are we going to start to speak the truth and do the right thing? If we know that it really is bad behavior, stop trying to deflect and not deal with the bad behavior, no matter how it's said. Now we're deflecting, and instead of the bad behavior being under a microscope, we're going after the victim. And I'm gonna call Ye a victim because he's lashing out on experiences that he had. He should have freedom of speech to speak out on the things that happened to him negatively. But you don't see one headline from a major media outlet that is discussing the bad behavior. Everything is an attack on Ye calling out the bad behavior. And that's a problem. And as a society, and as you as a person that now can create your own platform and talk your shit, you gotta call it out, man. I feel like that this kind of brought me back to YouTube, brought me back to a lot of things like, no, I gotta speak my truth because it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. Because at the end of the day, everybody's trying to protect them checks. But what about the truth? Don't we really need to hear it? Don't future generations need to hear it? Don't we need to hear what's really going on so we don't make those same mistakes moving forward? Let me let this go a little bit longer.
That's the whole game though, right? You got it when your money is connected, you understand me? And you can't disrespect it. Come on, man. We know how the game goes. Come on, man. I ain't saying nothing new. I'm just saying something true. Come on, man. So when you call out the industry, and when I see an entertainer and they're complaining about, man, these contracts, these 360 deals, who pioneered the 360 deal? When I see NFL players calling out the NFL, the only question is, okay, well, who is the power of the NFL? That's the only question there is to ask. When we call out social media companies for being anti-black against black voices, right? And censoring us for not, and they not being culturally relevant and having inherent tech bias built into their algorithms. Well, who owns and controls that? Because we're not talking about black, brown people. We're not talking about Asian people. So now it got to get to a point where you have the ability to call out wrong and a conversation starts. See, there has to be an ability to have a conversation about right and wrong. I seen it was a Jewish guy. He was online. He was explaining, because he said, you know what? I hear what Kanye West is saying. He was playing the clips of the show. He said, I hear what Kanye West is saying. He said, I agree with it. He said, I agree. Kanye West is saying we're good with money. So this Jewish guy said, well, let me teach y'all about how we good with money. He said, we're good at creating businesses. Let me teach y'all. He said, he's not lying. He's just, that faction doesn't embrace that. They consider everything to be an attack, right? But if you are not a part of the wrongdoers, then you shouldn't protect the people that's doing wrong. But the moment that you protect the people that's doing wrong, because you say that it may cause it may be a catalyst because of a historical event that has happened. No, that does not absolve you of your wrongdoing because of a historic event that has happened. That's like black people in America saying that, well, I can continue to rob, steal, and kill because we were slaves. I can do what I want to do because they put the crack epidemic on us. No, we say that this is part of the purpose and reasoning why, well, we're poor. So if I rob you, it's okay because look, they created black codes back in the day. They wouldn't allow our family to own homes and get real estate, right? We had to fight. We had issues with civil rights. They used to spray hoses on us. They used to lynch us and they used to beat us. So you know how sensitive you should be about black people in America? If we're doing it based on historical events and context, then that means that there should be not a word that you say that dehumanizes us, because this is why they were able to justify their treatment against black people in America, because they said that we was 3/5 of a human being. So any statements you say that is closely related to any dehumanization, anything you say, you should be counseled for. Matter of fact, you should not even be allowed to be in a position of ownership over a black person because of what happened to us historically. We shouldn't even have bosses and managers of any other race if we're using the same exact context. Why? Because this is exactly what led to the issues in the past.
Okay, I'm end it there. I'm actually gonna come back and do a part two. I really appreciate uh, this 19 Keys brother. Thank you to my wife for putting me on to him. I can listen to this guy for days because he's nailing everything he's saying. God, I want to wrap up, but there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. I think about I'm the type of person when I was growing up, I never understood why in my neighborhood there were so many Asian, the Chinese store on the corner, the laundromat, the liquor store, the massage places, the dry cleaners. And I used to ask people in my hood. I used to ask drug dealers. I used to ask my family members, why do they, how are they able to own all of this stuff? And then as I got older and I understood business a little bit more, I'm thinking to myself, how are they getting finance to own all of these things? And then I started to take a step further. Like, where are our businesses, right? Like, could we not do a dry cleaner? I mean, it's a big machine and a little bit organized computer systems. Or, we cook really good in our homes. Why don't we have, the fried chicken, the whatever we cook? Why don't we have our little corner store to sell that? And I've always wondered why. I've always been that type of kid growing up. And obviously, as I got older, I understand. And I'm not going to get into specifics of any of those examples I gave, but I just wanted to point out that the problem, and 19 Keys said it, and I've been saying it for some time, what do we own? Let's stop glorifying the checks in the situations where we're told that this person has a lot of money, and we see the shows with the cars in the house. What was that show? Pimp My Crib or Pimp My Ride, all them type of shows. And the truth of the matter is, we don't own them shows. We're locked into deals where if we do one thing wrong, we're done. And at the same time, you got people every day in your hood, in your neighborhood, in your community that owns thriving businesses, make good money, and they do what they want to do. And that should be the mindset of us black folks, of black America. And so I'll go back to an earlier show I had, and I said, what happened to Ice Cube's contract with Black America? See, I think what black people don't fully understand is that we need to stop praising the celebrities and the people with a lot of money and start to realize that if we're given opportunities, if we're given low interest loans, we can create amazing lives and nobody needs to know about it. we can make 4, 5, 600,000 a year running our own thing if we were able to afford the opportunity for a loan to open that dry cleaner or that car wash or that corner store. So I'm gonna come back and I want to do a whole reaction to this because, and I'm sure 90 Keys does this all the time, but obviously there's close ties to me having my discussions with Ye, and he hasn't even really gotten to the Adidas part for the most part. But yeah, I mean, it's just interesting how he frames all of it, and I appreciate that. And so I'm gonna end by basically saying that, God, man, I feel like everything that's happening. I said this to my friend Patrice, and I told her we got to start having the conversation we have in the car, over the phone. We got to have this on this YouTube, and we can't be afraid to speak our piece, speak our minds, because people need to hear. But I told her the other day, I said, it's interesting to me that someone like me, I've known the crap for a long time. Like I said, I've been in business for a long time. I've read the books. I'm the type once I've absorbed something, I absorb it. So I know the BS. There's a reason why I say I don't really listen and follow the media, because I know I'm not even gonna say that, but I know what I know. But I told her, I said, the interesting thing about the Ye thing right now is that I've known it. I've known what goes on. People I follow, like Kwame Brown, he talks about the go along, get along game. I know it. But to see what they're doing to Ye, or somebody see what he's doing to himself, regardless of whatever side of the fence you on, to see what's happening to Ye in such a short amount of time just tells me, like, OMG, we got to stand up and speak out. We got to share our truths. We can't be afraid, because at the end of the day, we got to be thankful that there is someone that's calling out the bad behavior, that's had exposure, that can't theorize it or say, I think I know. They're saying, I know because I've been involved in it. I've been in it. Because someone like me, because I'm such a forward thinker, as 19 Keys said, I'm not, I think, I'm not going to allow myself to get in bad deals if I can, not even if I can help it. I'm not going to do it, because I've understood enough stories. I've seen multi-million dollar sports athletes go broke in a short amount of time. So that got me to thinking, oh, okay, did they really have that money? What happened? How in the world? Shoot, you give me $1 million. I don't need much. Like, what? How in the world you can make 80, 90 million be broke? So I'm the type of person, I'm not going to sign no deals, right? But because I've never experienced it, I can't speak to the level of a Ye, because he's been in those rooms. And so I think the what I want to wrap up by saying, and obviously thank you, 19 Keys. If you want to watch his the full episode without my interruptions, it's Adidas partnership with Kanye dash 19 Keys. You can subscribe to him, 19 Keys. But I want to wrap up to say, I just hope that we, regardless of where you stand with the comments that Ye makes, I hope that we start to open our eyes and take the opportunity to speak up, speak out on our individual platforms, in our communities, in our homes, because being a Black person in America that has overcome so much my entire life. I have an undergrad degree, MBA degree. I've bought a bunch of houses. I've invested in courses in the stock market. I've invested in courses in real estate. I read all the books and applied those things. I read all the self-help books. And at the end of the day, I still had to hit the bottom, start over, hit the bottom, start over, hit the bottom, start over. Have a tech company, hit the bottom, start over. So I'm not saying that I'm no superhero. I'm not saying I'm anything special. I'm just saying I'm someone that has tried his hardest to get ahead. and it's hard. And then you look and you see they got a business there. You say, my community, why we don't have anything? Because we don't have the infrastructure. We don't have access to the capital. And so I think more and more of us need to take the emotions out of it. Stop taking what Ye says or how he presents it verbatim. We want all of these people to present these perfect messages. No, we need to hear from people that are speaking honestly and telling the truth, and really really take that and say, okay, wow, okay, what can I do, or how can I contribute to us turning things around? So I'll end that by saying let's really focus on the infrastructure. Taking the check hasn't seemed to work out so well for us. And I really think we need to embrace the concept of what do we own? What do you own? You ain't got to be 19 keys. You ain't got to be me. You ain't got to be Ye. Do you own the thing that you do? And if you don't, do you have a plan to own it? So with that said, I am out. Peace.